In this tutorial video, we're going to make an online community website. Yes, you're going to be able to have your own Facebook-like website. Let's take a look at all the features that you're going to have available to you. First, you're going to be able to have this beautiful activity feed, and all these things I'm going to show you are completely optional. An activity feed, much like you're already used to on Facebook, where you can post images, videos, text, updates, people can comment back, people can post animated GIFs. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very engaging for your community members. Next, you can create private groups or public groups where members of similar interests can go and communicate and share. These groups can be private and completely secured, or they can be public. They also have an activity feed, a private forum where the members of the group can ask questions and reply back, which brings me to user forums. You can have public or private user forums where your members can ask questions and get answers. Having a user forum on your website is an incredible thing for search engine optimization to generate traffic on your website. Your members can have rich profiles where they can customize their cover image, their avatar image information, and you can also enable them to be able to connect with other community members. You can also enable private communication through the personal message box, which is an option that you have available to enable your members to communicate with each other. And yes, of course, there's notifications. Each of your members will get notifications when people are responding to them and when there's new activity in their feeds. Optionally, if you want a learning component, online courses on your website, it will fully integrate with the industry-leading learning management system, and it has some amazing features. My favorite has to be dark mode. It's just easier on your eyes. And you'll also optionally be able to have an activity calendar if you want to have events that people can register to, as well as you can optionally have a job board where jobs can be posted just for your community. You can also optionally add an e-commerce store component to your online community website. And just in case you're wondering, all of this is going to look amazing on all devices, mobile phones and tablets. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. I hope you stick around and give this video a thumbs up. Let's get started. Now, the goal of this video is to enable you to make a beautiful online community website. And we're going to do this in 3 simple steps. The first step is we need to get a domain name. This is your website address and website hosting, and I have a way for you to save 70% on this hosting that you're going to need. Next, we're going to install WordPress. It's so easy to do. There's an easy auto installer for it. And lastly, we're going to craft your website. We're going to be using a tool called BuddyBoss, and optionally, if you want that online course component, we'll also put in LearnDash, which is the industry-leading online course platform. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first step to ordering a new web hosting account is to open up your web browser, then open up a new tab in that web browser and go to the website WPCrafter.com/SiteGround, just as you see right here. I want to just share for a quick moment why I recommend SiteGround. They are fantastic in the 4 most important things when it comes to your website hosting. Number 1 is the speed of your website. You're not going to find a higher performance web host in this price range. Number 2 is support, and they are known for having the fastest and best support. When you need help, they're going to give it to you. The third item is special features for WordPress users. They have plans that include one-click staging, easy migration. It is filled with features for WordPress users. And fourth is security. It's a very secure hosting platform. Now, you don't even have to take my word for this. You could ask anywhere on the internet for a hosting recommendation, and consistently the recommendation is always going to be SiteGround in this price range. So you don't only have to take my word for it. SiteGround is the most highly recommended web hosting provider for a reason. Okay, so when we get to this page right here, we're going to go ahead and click on WordPress hosting. Actually, all three of these right here are going to be the same exact thing. So I'm going to click on Get Started. Now they have 3 plans and there's some minor differences between the plans. What you're going to want for sure is either the Grow Big or the Go Geek. Now the reason you would want these plans over the Startup is they have more WordPress related features, such as they will migrate your WordPress website for you. They have caching, so it's higher performance, faster loading hosting. They come with advanced backup features, and my favorite feature is one-click staging. What that means is when you're making changes to your website, you don't have to make it to the live website. You can do it in this private area where only you can see the website, and then you can click one button and push those changes to your live website. So that's why you'd want to pick the Grow Big, and this is typically what I recommend. If you are going to have a website and you want more resources and higher priority support, you might want to pay a little bit extra and go with the Go Geek plan right here. Now keep in mind, because you visited SiteGround through WPCrafter.com/SiteGround, 70% is taken off of the cost of your hosting plan. So let's go ahead and choose the Grow Big. I'll click on Get Plan right here. This is where you're going to choose your domain name if you're going to be registering a new one or if you already have a domain name. So you can go right here and just enter in a domain name that you would like to register on this account. The setup process will be the same whether you're registering a new domain name or if you already have a domain name. It's going to be more convenient if you register the domain name here at SiteGround. For me, I already have a domain name, so I'm going to choose this option and then I'll enter my domain name here. I have entered in let's create a website.com. I'll go ahead and click on Proceed. Now, if you're registering a new domain name, if it's taken, it will let you know that, so you can just keep trying a different variation of the domain name that you want to register. Okay, so now we are on the last step to enter in our billing information. This is standard stuff. You'll put your email address, and that's going to be the email you'll use to log into your SiteGround account. Then you'll put in your name and your billing address, your billing information right here. And then right here is a final confirmation of your services. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it out, and then we'll do this step right here together. Okay, I've gone ahead and filled out all of my billing information. So here is the final order details. It's confirming the plan. It's confirming the data center. Now it's going to choose a data center near where you are. So if you're in the USA, it's going to automatically choose the USA data center. If you're in the EU, if you're in the Middle East, it's going to choose, or in Asia, it's going to choose a data center nearest to you. Then right here, you could choose the period. You're prepaying for this period. So by default, it's 12 months, and you can increase this to 24 or 36 to increase the savings that you have. It's just going to verify the price that you're paying right now. And then we have these few extra services that it's going to offer to us. The first one is, because we chose the Grow Big, we're getting a free website transfer. This is normally $30. It's included for free whether you use it or not. And then there's this option right here for SG Scanner. I don't recommend it, but you can add this if you want. You can always add this at a later time. And then right here, we just have the final confirmation of the cost. And I think you'll agree, this is a really low cost to get a full year of web hosting, and especially one that's as good as SiteGround. Next, we just need to check these 2 boxes right here and then click on Pay Now. All right, if you filled everything out correctly, it's going to take you to this screen. If not, it will kick you back to fix whatever might be inputted wrong. And then this is our final confirmation. The account is created successfully. You'll get an email receipt. If you registered a new domain name, there will also be an additional email there to verify your domain, that new domain, just to verify your email address that is tied to it now. And all we need to do is click on Proceed to Customer area right here, and it's going to log us into SiteGround. The next step is to click right here where it says Set Up Site. And right here, you just want to verify that this is listing your domain name, and this is the domain name that I entered in when I created my hosting account. Now, what we're going to do is click on Create a New Website or Start a New Website. So I'm going to click on Select, and then right here, it's going to reveal the options that I have available to me. I'm going to go ahead and choose right here where it says WordPress. Even if you're going to use WordPress in WooCommerce, I like to manually install WooCommerce myself. So I'm going to go ahead right here for WordPress and then click on select. Now what we're going to do is create a login for that WordPress based website. So fill that out and then click on continue. I filled mine out and I'm going to click on continue right here. At this step, it's just an upsell to that SiteGround scanner, that SG scanner. I'm going to go ahead and click on finish. I'm not going to be adding this to my account. Okay, if you've done everything correctly, it's going to start the process of creating your website. All right, you're all set. Now, if you registered your domain name with SiteGround in this process, you can go ahead and click right here where it says manage site to go to the site tools. If you have a domain name that's registered elsewhere, you just need to go to where that domain name is registered and update what's called the DNS servers. And this is what you want to put in, these two server addresses right here. You can click right here to get additional instructions. So if you have your domain name at GoDaddy, you could also just go to Google and do a search for GoDaddy update DNS servers, or you could contact where you've registered your domain name at and ask them to change it for you. Next, you're going to want to click on Manage Site, and this is going to be the control panel for this domain that you've just registered. And you can do convenient things here such as add email accounts, access the file manager. You have those DNS servers again. We can see the IP address of this server. Now, the first thing you always want to do when you add a website address to your hosting account is create an SSL certificate. SiteGround makes this super convenient and it's also free. So what we want to do next is click right here where it says security and then go right here where it says SSL manager. We'll click on that, and right here it says install new SSL. Don't worry, you don't have to install anything. We just have to create it. So right here is a drop down and I'm going to choose Let's Encrypt. This is going to be completely free, and then I'll click on get. All right, congratulations. You've now installed a SSL certificate, which is crucial for a website today, and SiteGround's going to automatically renew that certificate for you. So the next step is to log into WordPress for the first time. So I'm going to go right here where it says WordPress, and then I'm going to click right here where it says install and manage. This is where we can install additional WordPress installations, or we can see a list of our installations right here and manage them. Now, if you look all the way on the far right, there's these three dots, and when you click on it, we get some options here. I just want to show you these really quick. If you ever forget your admin password, right here is your option to change it. Hey, it happens to all of us. You can reset permissions, move this, and delete this if you didn't want this WordPress installation anymore. Stay away from these last three options. Just know that you can update your admin password if you forget. And then we have this little icon here that says log into the admin panel. This would be the WordPress admin panel. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to open up in a new tab, and it's going to take us right into WordPress. Now, when you have a site on SiteGround and you log in for the first time, you're going to see this wizard right here. We don't actually want this, so I'm going to scroll down and click on exit, and it's going to get us out of that onboarding process. Okay, we just have a few more steps to go through. So what I want to do next is go to where it says plugins, and SiteGround's going to install these two plugins. The first one is for caching. We're going to use that at the end of developing our website. So we're going to deactivate that by just clicking on deactivate. The last is this that says WordPress Starter. Go ahead and click on deactivate for this and then delete it. That was what was causing that onboarding process. I'll confirm that by clicking on OK. So that is the first step. And the next step is we need to tell WordPress that we have an SSL certificate. And you can see right here it says not secure on the URL there. We're going to fix that right now. So what we want to do is click on settings. And it's going to take us here where we have some WordPress information, and then these two areas right here, it's going to show us our URL for the website. And if you notice, what's missing is the S in HTTPS. So we're going to click there and add an S. We're going to click right here, add an S. And so now when we log into WordPress and view it on the front end, it's going to show us the version that is secure and using our SSL certificate. So we'll scroll down and click on Save Changes. Now, before you do this, no, it's going to kick you out of WordPress and you're going to have to log back in. And this is normal. So I'm going to click on Save Changes. And then here we are. And you can see it doesn't say not secure in the top left anymore. It now has the padlock right there. So go ahead and log in. This is the username and password you chose when we created this site. Okay, it's going to take you right back here. I'll click on dashboard. You can see we still have the padlock right there. And now we're going to take a quick look at the front end of the website just to make sure that it's also using this SSL certificate. The way we do that is right here where it says My WordPress and View Site. We're going to go ahead and click on that, and it takes us right here. And this is what your website looks like right now. And you can see that we have the SSL certificate because we're showing the padlock there as well. Congratulations on installing WordPress for the first time. So moving back to the dashboard of WordPress, I just want to walk you through a couple simple settings that will make your WordPress experience better. And some of these settings we need to go through anyway. All right, so we're on the dashboard and we have these different boxes and they're called widgets. But if on the area right here it says screen options, if you click on that, you have these various checkboxes and that will get rid of some of those. So I can get rid of activity, quick draft, I can get rid of at a glance, and I'll just leave this right here. And then I would click on screen options and then that goes back to how it was. Now, when you add any plugins to your website, it might add widgets. That's how you're going to go in and disable the ones that don't matter to you. Okay, off to the left here, we have posts. This will be blog posts. Then we have media. This is where you're going to be able to upload images and videos and PDFs. Then we have pages. These are going to be where the main content is of your website. So this would be your home page, your About Us page, those types of pages. If you do use the blog posts and you want people on your website to be able to leave a comment, you're going to find those here where it says comments. Then we have the appearance tab, and these are going to be the visual aspects of your website. And this is where we can go in and create a menu and things like that. Plugins, this is where you're going to extend the functionality of WordPress. So a lot of the features you're going to add, you will be adding them via a plugin. This is the true game changer of WordPress and why it's so popular. Where it says users, this is where all your user accounts are going to be, including the one that you have. And we're going to go through this in a second to just change a few variables there. And then we have tools. This is where you can migrate or push and pull your data if you're moving from one platform into WordPress. We won't be covering that. And then we have these settings, and we're going to have to go through a few of these. So let's just knock this all out really quick. So first I'm going to go to users, and I'll click on all users just so you can see it. Right now it's just me, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it right here. You might want to go through here and add your first name and your last name, add a nickname, and then you can choose what is going to be displayed publicly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So I've added my name and a nickname, and this is how I like to have my name be viewed in emails everywhere, Adam, and then the @ WPCrafter. Now, if you filled these three out and there's this drop down here, you're going to be given options on how to have it displayed. So right now you can see in the top right, it just shows the email address, but I'm going to choose that nickname right here. And you can see now it's dynamically changed right there, Adam @ WPCrafter. Okay, this is where you can change the email tied to your WordPress user account, and you can also change your password there as well. So I'll go ahead and click on Update Profile. So that's how you're going to do that. And it's the same thing if you wanted to add a new user, if you're going to have multiple people logging into your website. Okay, the next is go to Settings, and then here it says General. We actually took a look at this when we added our SSL certificate. Now, every website has a title and a tagline. By default, you can see right here it's saying My WordPress and just another WordPress site. So you can change this to whatever you want it to be. And this is actually tied to right here where it says My WordPress. So this is where you might want to add your business name, maybe sneak in a couple keyword phrases naturally that go along with your website. We're going to go through changing that as well later in this video, but this is where I wanted to show you that you could do that. Here's the email address where notices are going to be sent to. So if there's anything important related to your WordPress-based website, this is the email that those notices would be sent to. Right here, you're going to be able to change the language of your site, and it's also a good idea to enter in the correct time zone. Now for my time zone, I'm -8, but I live in an area where there's daylight savings, so the time changes twice per year. So for that situation, I can scroll up here and I can choose my city name. And for me, the closest one would be Los Angeles. So I'm going to scroll up. Here it is, Los Angeles, and it's going to put the correct time in there for me. You can change your date format, your time format, and all that. I'll go ahead and click on Save Changes. So just know that this is where those settings would end up being. Now the next is super important right here where it says permalinks. Let's go ahead and click on that. And these are basically the link structures. You're going to always want this set to post name right here. That's going to make your links look natural. All right, I'll go ahead and choose that. Scroll down, click on Save Changes. Then I'll click back here to the dashboard. And that's pretty much it. Those are just some of the important settings that you want to pay attention to that are available in WordPress. Now we need to get the BuddyBoss platform, which is what we're going to be using to power this online community website. So open up a new tab in your web browser and visit WPCrafter.com/BuddyBoss, one word, BuddyBoss, and go ahead and click enter. It's going to take you here to the BuddyBoss website. Now when you visit BuddyBoss via that specific link, it's automatically going to add a 10% discount when you purchase BuddyBoss. Once on the website, go over here where it says Buy Now and click on that button. Now here's where you'll choose your plans. We're essentially going to get this Essential package right here. The only difference between Essential and Pro is the Pro version you can use on 5 different websites, but we don't need that for this online community site. We only need it for one website. Now, BuddyBoss also offers done-for-you packages and a VIP package where they do everything for you. So the value in this tutorial is pretty much going to be close to this $3,000 because you're going to be setting it up yourself. Of course, in that $3,000, they have an option to do some custom feature development to meet your specific requirements. But all that we need for this video is the Essential package right here for $228. This is going to be exactly what we need. So click right here where it says Buy Now. It will take you here to the cart, and you can see the discount is applied, that 10% off. It's right there. Then you could go ahead and click on Proceed to Checkout. On the checkout page, fill out your billing details and place your order. After you complete your order, you're going to receive several emails. Now, one of those emails is going to include your license code, which we're going to need at a later step in this video. After you make your purchase, you'll be able to access a My Account page where you're going to be able to download what we need for this video. And you're going to see 3 downloads: BuddyBoss theme, BuddyBoss child theme, and BuddyBoss platform. All we need is BuddyBoss theme, so go ahead and click on the download option for that. And then we need to download BuddyBoss platform. Click on that to download that, and we'll go ahead and install those in a later step in this video. Now, the next thing we need is going to be purely optional, depending if you want to have online courses inside of your community website. So open up a new tab and go to WPCrafter.com/get LearnDash, GETLEARNDASH. Now, LearnDash is the industry leading online course plugin for WordPress, and it's trusted by so many universities and large businesses. It's extremely affordable, but like I said, it's completely optional. So when you go here, you can click on pricing. There are 3 plans available. You'd pretty much want this middle plan right here for $189 because it includes this right here. It's a pro panel, and what that basically means is statistics, dashboards, activity reports, etc. If that is not important to you, you can get away with this single site license for $159 right here. Now you can go ahead and order this by just clicking on Add to Cart and making your purchase. Here's what it's going to look like after you make your purchase. I'm going to go ahead and just click on download right here where it says LearnDash, and then I'm going to also download right here where it says Pro Panel, and it's just going to download those two items to my computer. The next thing we need is what's called a page builder. So open up a new tab and go to WPCrafter.com/get Elementor. Now, when you visit this link, it's automatically going to download the free version of Elementor to your website. We'll be using Elementor to create beautiful page layouts with that what you see is what you get editor. It makes it very easy to make pages that look great. There's a free version of Elementor that we're going to be using, and there's also a pro version which is not required. However, since we're here, let's click on pricing and take a look at the plans that they offer. They have 3 plans available, and the only difference is how many sites you want to install this on. So if it's just one website, it's only going to cost you $49 in order to get the professional version of Elementor. What you get for that $49 is additional elements, additional templates. You get something called a theme builder, which allows you to build headers and footers on your website and other neat things like that. If you're going to do any kind of e-commerce, there's some additional features for that. And one of my favorite features that it has, though, is a pop-up builder. So you can create all sorts of pop-ups and set triggers for them throughout your website. That alone really justifies the $49 per year, because there's many services that are $30 per month just for a similar set of features. But like I said, it's not required. The free version is going to be more than enough for what we're going to be doing inside of this site build. Now that we're done downloading everything that we need to get, it's time to install everything on our website. So we'll go back to the dashboard of our website. We're going to click on plugins, and then we're going to hover here where it says add new. And then we're going to click right here where it says upload plugin. And what we're going to do is one by one install the plugins that we've just downloaded. So the first one that we're going to drag and drop across is Elementor. So it's going to be in your download folder of your computer. So here's mine. I can drag and drop it, click on install now. It's going to upload it to your website and install it. Then we want to click on activate plugin. Then we're going to do this all over again. We're going to go to plugins, add new, and then we're going to click on upload plugin. And this time we're going to upload the plugin named BuddyBoss Platform Plugin. I'm going to drag and drop this across. Now the other item we downloaded from BuddyBoss was a theme which we upload in a different location. I'll click on install now, then I'll click on activate. We're going to get this welcome, but I'm going to go ahead and click on close to close that, because we have one more thing to upload, which was LearnDash. And remember, that was optional. So I'm going to go to plugins, add new, upload plugin, and then I'm going to drag LearnDash over, and I'll click on install now, and then I'll click on activate plugin. Now, after we activate LearnDash, it's going to give us this sort of an onboarding. I'm going to go ahead and click on dismiss right there. And we also get this notice to add our license code for LearnDash. I'll go ahead and remove that notice by clicking the X and that X right there. And now we're done installing the plugins. The next step is to install the BuddyBoss theme. I'm going to go to Appearance and then click on Themes. And here's some default themes that come when you first install WordPress. I'll go ahead and click on Add New, and then I'm going to click on Upload Theme. And this time we're going to drag and drop the file BuddyBoss theme that we downloaded. Now, if you try to upload this to the plugins, you're going to get a notice that there's something missing, and that's because it has to be uploaded to themes. So I'll go ahead and click on install now. Now that it's done uploading, click on activate. Now, as soon as we activate the BuddyBoss theme, we get this welcome video from Tom. He's a great guy. He is the co-founder of BuddyBoss. So let's go ahead, and if you want to watch the video, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to go ahead and click on close. And here I am back on the dashboard. So we uploaded 2 premium products, and the way premium products work with WordPress is you're given a license code, and that's really what you're purchasing, a license code. And when you've entered your license code, it's going to allow you to get updates. So when a new feature enhancement comes out, you will get a notice when you log into your WordPress website. So just a moment ago, we got that enter your license code notice for LearnDash. and now we're getting it for BuddyBoss. When you purchased BuddyBoss, you would have received an email receipt. Inside of that receipt, it's going to have an activation code. So what you could do is click right here where it says activate your product license, and this is just going to be for BuddyBoss. And then right here you can paste in that license key and enter in the email address you used to purchase BuddyBoss. After you do that, if you did add LearnDash to your website, you're going to want to add that license code as well. And here is an option that says, please click here to update your license. You'll want to click on that, and it's the same process. You would enter in your email and enter in your license key and then click on update license. So I'll take a moment to add my license to both of these plugins. Once you enter those licenses like I just did, you'll no longer receive any of those notifications to go ahead and enter it. And when there's new updates to either of these, you're going to see the updates available here. You'll see a red badge off to the right where it says updates, letting you know that there's an update available. All right, so now's a great time to see what the front portion of our website looks like. So you can hover over here where it says my website and then click right here where it says visit site. And here is what the site looks like right now. You can see we're already a portion of the way in getting this all going. Okay, let's go back to our site. So now I want to walk you through some of the basic settings of the theme, and these are going to be more affecting the appearance of your website. So you're going to see those options right here when you go where it says BuddyBoss and you hover over it, and there'll be an option down here that says theme options. So let's go ahead and look at that first before we start getting into the components that are available with BuddyBoss. This is where we're going to see the various options for how the site's going to look, broken down into several categories that are easy to follow. So the first option is going to be for a logo. And you could have a text-based logo, so you can see right here it is just text-based, and you can change the color of this and the font if you wanted, or you can upload a logo quite easy. All you'd have to do is, if you want a logo for a desktop visitor, you can turn this on, and then right here you can upload your logo, and you can choose the size that you want it to display on the front end of the website. Same goes here for a mobile logo. So what's nice about this is you can have a different version for mobile devices. So you can just toggle this on, and it's basically those same options. Now, if you don't have a logo and you want to get a logo, I'll put a link in the video description box down below on how you can create your own logo if you want to do it on a budget. Or if you want to do everything more professional, I want to recommend a service that I personally use. And here is their website. It's Dear Designer. So you can go to WPCrafter.com/Dear Designer. That's DEER designer.com. And when you go there, it's going to take you right here. This is a design service that I use for all sorts of graphic designs. What's unique about them is that they also do logo design. A lot of these design services will not do logo design because it requires a lot more thought and effort and work. And so the way Dear Designer works is you pay a flat fee per month and you can request unlimited graphic designs. And this could include any type of graphic design work, even full page layouts for a website. And that monthly cost right now, I think, is only about $460. Let's see when I click on Get Started to see if it's gone up or not. Yep, there it is. It's only $460 per month, and that's going to get you a dedicated designer, unlimited revisions, unlimited images. You can have multiple brands, all of that. And it includes a 14-day trial to try the service out if you wanted to. So either of those will work fine. I'll have a video link down below and I'll show you how to make a logo for free. You're going to probably get better results with a designer if you don't have one already. I just wanted to throw out Dear Designer to you. It's a great service. So go ahead here and choose the logos that you want and upload them to your site. The next option is your header style. So this is the very top part of your website. So the way the default header style is, you're going to have the logo on the left, then you're going to have a menu that we're going to create here in a moment. And then off to the right, we're going to have the option to sign in, sign up, or if someone's already logged in, as you can see right here, it's going to show them their name, their avatar, a search bar, and a notification option. And based on the components we activate, there might be some additional options here. So you can choose that layout. That's my preferred header layout, and that's actually what I use personally. Or you can have your logo centered, your menu off to the left, and those other options off to the right. It's completely up to you and your preferences. Next, we have sticky header options. Essentially, that means this header that you're choosing, if it's going to stick to the top of the screen or not. So it's set by default. So you can see as I'm scrolling, the header doesn't scroll with it. It just sticks. This is a personal preference if you want this or not. I personally don't like sticky headers, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And here you can choose the height of your header. And if you want that little shadow, I actually like that little shadow. So you can see right here, this little line, that's that shadow. So I've gone ahead and turned that off. Now here's where you can choose those little icons that are available on the far right. So you see these here, and we can choose which ones we want or don't want. So if you don't want that search option, you can choose to hide it, the messages option, the notification option, and the shopping cart if you're going to use an e-commerce platform on your website. And here is those same options, but for a mobile device. So you can choose if you want them on, depending on the device that your visitor is using. Each time you make some changes, you're going to get this notice that settings have changed and to save them. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Save Changes like that. And now the little change I made is saved. So if I do a refresh, I bet I lost my sticky header. Yep, I lost my sticky header because I disabled that. Okay, so then we have this option called Buddy Panel. You see this little icon here on the far left. So if I go to Buddy Panel, you can have that or not have that. It's completely up to you. And there's a couple options related to it. So you can either enable it or disable it. You can choose the position on the left or the right, and if it's always opened or always closed by default. Now, since we haven't gone through the components yet, we don't actually have it here on our site. But if I was to jump over to the BuddyBoss online demo, this is what it looks like. You can see right here is that buddy bar. So this is open and this is closed, but it will always be stuck there to the side. And that is a complete option of yours. You can have it if you want to have it. I personally don't enable that because I don't like things sticking to the left and the right, taking up screen space. So I always have that off, but it's completely up to you and your preferences. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Save Changes. Next, let's take a quick look at sidebars. So there's going to be different parts of your website where there's going to be a sidebar where you can place different bits of information. And this is letting you choose if you want it, that sidebar on the left or the right. Typically, you see it on the right for certain parts of your website, and certain parts you might see it on the left. So we're going to leave these the default, but you could play around with these later. Next, let's take a look at typography, which is essentially just a fancy word for fonts. So here we are, and there are default fonts for every little part of this. But if you want custom fonts, and you probably will, you might want to just come here and click on, and now you can choose a custom font for the site title. Remember, I was saying if you didn't have a logo and you just wanted a word here, you can customize it. Well, that's how you can do it right there. So we have a list of different fonts, the body font, your headline fonts right here. And what we can choose for each one is the font family. So when you click here, you get the drop down and you get this long list of fonts that you can choose from. You can choose the weight, which is the thickness of your fonts. There's subsets and also font size. So you can choose those and customize those right there if you want. For this video, I'm not going to customize them, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn that back to off. Next, we have styling, which is essentially just your color scheme. So all the different elements, you can change the colors. So most people, including myself, are not going to go with this blue that they have chosen as the default color for the theme. You can just go here, click on select color, and you can change it here via this color picker, or you can enter in a specific color code right here that may be a color that you're already using with your brand. So as you can see, this color right here is specifically linked to the site title. So I just showed you a moment ago where you can change the font. of the site title, and here's where you're going to be able to change the color as well. Now what's nice is we have a list here of all the different colors that we can change, and you have control to change every one here, so you pretty much don't have to get involved in any kind of custom coding. It's all point and click, changing whatever you want with the BuddyBoss theme. All right, let's go ahead and click on footer. And so this is going to be the style of the footer. That's the area at the bottom of your website. So for me personally, I like this footer style right here. So the first option is if you want a widget area at the bottom of your footer. So by default it's off, and when I turn it on, you can choose the amount of columns that you want. Now, I personally like to have a 4-column widget layout, and what I like to do is list menus of different important links that I want to make easily and readily available for people. So, however, on this we might want to just keep it simple, so I'll go ahead and turn that off. Next, we have an option if we want to enable the footer bottom area at all, and you're definitely going to want this footer bottom area. So we'll leave this on, of course, and then we get to choose the style that we want for the footer. I personally like this style right here because it's another opportunity to put my logo in, and we also have some additional options to pop in a copyright, some social media links, and a little bit of information underneath those social media links. So it's the same thing as the logo. You can go ahead and upload your footer logo and set your size, and you can put a tagline underneath it. Next, for the copyright area, you might want to leave this the way that it is. Actually, right here, you might want to change that to your business name or whatever you want to list as the copyright holder of the content on your website. This bit right here is going to automatically update each year to the current year, so you don't have to worry about a thing there. Here's a little bit of information you could put underneath your social media links, and here's where you could put all of your social media links that you want. Now don't worry, you see this long list and you're like, I only have YouTube and Twitter. Well, just put in something for YouTube and Twitter, and only those icons will actually appear on the right there. So you could just put in what you have. Next is our blog layout. If you're going to have a blog on this website, here's what your options are for the list of blog posts and how you want that layout to look. We have these 3 different options: list, masonry, or grid. And then we have the option of the layout for the actual blog post itself. And so we have these 3 different layouts here. What you see in blue is where the featured image, if you have one for your blog post, is going to be. So right here, you'd get the title and the author byline above the image of the feature image, and the feature image takes out the full width. And then you have a narrow area here for your content. And so you have these different options here for the style. And then here is some info that you might want on your blog post, such as related posts. How many related posts? If you want an author box, I definitely recommend having an author box. It'll just be an image of the author and a little bit of information about them. Here's if you want a floating social share option on blog posts. If you don't have a social sharing plugin and you want those types of features, you could go ahead and leave this on if you like it. And then here's an option to link the author to their profile in BuddyBoss. And then lastly, you can enable a newsletter sign-up form on your blog posts as well. Okay, so let's move a little quicker through the remaining options. Right here is your login and register options. So essentially you get this beautiful custom login page. So here's if you want to have a custom logo added to it, you could do that and customize the background. I recommend spending some time on that to get that right. You have what's called a 404 page. So if someone goes to a link on your website and there's no content there, they usually is going to get this 404 page. And so you can customize the text here that would go in that 404 page quite easily. I would just leave it the way that it is if it was me. Next, we could actually put the entire site in maintenance mode. This might be a good idea while you're building it out, is to put it in maintenance mode. You can just click on the on button right there. I won't be doing that for this tutorial though. Next, there's certain parts of the BuddyBoss platform that has cover images. So a member profile, a social group, they have a cover image, and there's different cover image styles. So you can have it go full width or default. Here, let's take a quick look at the demo here on BuddyBoss's website. So I'm going into a group, and so this is default. If it was full width, it would be, the image would be going to the full left and to the full right. So that's what it's going to look like with the current setting. And then you could choose the height, small, or you can choose large. That's just the height of the image. Now, what I do recommend is uploading a default cover image. So if you don't get around initially to adding a custom cover image to each member profile or social group, there's these options right here to upload a default image for the cover for all of them. Now, if you don't have any images readily available, you could definitely go the Dear Designer route, or I would recommend going to Pexels, PEXELS.com, and this is a free stock photography website where you can use all of these images royalty free. So you essentially just go here and enter in a search term, and you're going to see a list of photos. Here's some examples right here. So if we want a photo of a crowd, I can click on that and I can see lots of different crowds. So let's just go ahead and choose one of these images that we think are going to end up looking good. This right here is a nice, pleasant looking image. I'll go ahead and click on it. And then you see this option here for free download. Well, there's a drop down here and you could choose the size. So I'll just go with this medium size right here. I'll click on free download and it's now downloading to my computer. And then what I can do is just go back here, click on upload, and I can just drag and drop that image across like this. The reason I said I chose that smaller quality one is it's going to produce a smaller image size-wise, not dimensions of it, but as far as when someone downloads it. Okay, so we've got that, and I'll do the same thing here. I'll just choose the same image, just like that, and that looks good. I'll go ahead and click on Save Changes for that. Okay, next is our options for LearnDash. We're going to take a look at that when we're going through LearnDash, and that's going to be later in this tutorial because not everyone's going to get LearnDash. Here's a custom codes area. This is where we can put your Google Analytics tracking code or any live chat type of tracking code. You would click on right here and just paste that info in. Next, if you're going to do any custom CSS or JavaScript, you're probably not going to do any custom JavaScript, but every now and then I add custom CSS. So you might want to turn that on and paste that in right there. Next, we have this minify assets option. We can leave that how it is. This is going to be for increasing the performance of your theme, making it snappier for people. And last right here is really cool. We have import and export options. So if you are playing around with your settings on one website and you want to copy those settings across, you can easily export and import the different settings that we just set right here inside of the theme options. Now let's go ahead and click on where it says dashboard. What I want to quickly show you how to do now is add a blog post and add a page to your website. It's very easy. It's just going to take a moment. I'll go ahead and click on post. And you can see we don't have any blog posts by default. I'll click on add new. Since this is the first time we're adding a blog post, we're getting this kind of a walkthrough on how to use the blog post creator. So I'll just click on the X right here. And what you want to do with your blog post, it's just a few things you can do. You can give it a title. You can put your content in. You could choose a category right here. Well, we'll have to add a category first. You can add tags if you want to your blog post. Right here, you'd add a featured image, and then you pretty much publish it. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of that info right now. Okay, you can see I added a title. I added just one line of information here. I'll click on document, and you can see here we've got a featured image. I just used the same image I uploaded a moment ago, and I created a category named announcements, and I added that. I'll just go ahead and click on publish, and it's just letting me know if you click publish again, it's going to actually be published, and it's going to go ahead and do that. I'll click on view post and it's going to take me to the post. And so here we can see our title. We can see right here some of the information of the author and the published date. Here we get that featured image and then the content itself right here. Here's that sidebar location. We'll go through how to add information here that you may want. And then we have those social sharing icons. So at this point, you might remember the blog options that we just looked at inside of the theme for the layout on how this is going to look, and the social icons and what would be available underneath it. So those were the options. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click right here where it says dashboard. Now let's go ahead and make a page. So I'm going to click on pages, and it is going to first show us a few default pages that are created when you install WordPress. And these two pages right here are added when you install and activate the BuddyBoss platform and theme. So as we go through the components of the BuddyBoss theme, there'll be additional pages that are going to be created here. And this is also a second privacy policy that gets added. I'm going to go ahead and trash that. I'll go ahead and trash this sample page as well because we don't need that, but we do want this privacy policy and terms of service. So the one item that is not listed here is your blog post page. This is going to be the page that will list out all of your blog posts. So let's go ahead and add that. If you're not going to add a blog to your website, don't worry about it. But I'll go ahead and click on add new. And then I'm going to name this blog. And that's pretty much all that you do. I'm going to go ahead and click on publish and then click on publish again. And then I'll click here where it says all pages. So now we have a few pages that we can use to create a menu for our website. If you look right here, our menu is configured to show here. However, we're not seeing a menu, but that's okay. We just have to create a menu. It's super easy to do. So go ahead right here where it says customize. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And this gives us some visual options for our design. So here is where it says site identity. And see where it says My WordPress, and that's where it says it right there. That's where it's pulling from. So I'll change this information. I just went ahead and put community, and you can see it updates it in real time. And then here we have some styling options. So we saw we had those color options in the back end of WordPress. Well, we also have them right here as well. And then right here we have menus. So let's go ahead and click into that. And the reason we don't have a menu here is because we haven't created it yet. So let's go ahead and click on create new menu and go ahead and give this a name. I like to call it primary menu or main menu. So I've entered main. And then what we do is we choose where we want this new menu to go. And what we need to choose for BuddyBoss theme is right here where it says title bar. So when I click on this checkbox, that means we're creating this menu and it's going to be assigned to the title bar area. And then I'll go ahead and click on next. And now what we got to do is click right here. It says add items. And here are the pages that we've already created. So I can choose some of these. So let's choose the home page, let's choose the blog page, let's choose the news feed, and later we're going to come and add some more items to this menu as we add those components to the BuddyBoss theme. Okay, there we go, and I can click here. Now there's other options down here, all kinds of things. You can even add custom links. This is all standard WordPress stuff right here. And then we have some neat options down here, whether or not a user is logged in or logged out. So you might want to show something different when they're logged in versus when they're logged out. Okay, and if you notice, I just added these three options, and now you see three options right there like that. So I'll go ahead and click on publish. And you can see now we've created our menu. But let's go back. There's a couple other options here in this customizer. Here's the widget area. So we're on a blog post right now. Remember, right here's our blog post. And here is the blog sidebar. So if I clicked on blog sidebar, we have these areas called widgets. I know it's a weird term, widgets, but just think of them as elements on a particular sidebar area. So we have the search right here, and we have recent posts, and we have recent comments. And what you can do is click right here where it says add a widget, and we have a long list of widgets that we can add to it, bits of information that you may want on your sidebar. Now there's multiple areas where there might be a sidebar. using this community theme. And so what you would want to do is click into that particular page in order to put widgets that will go there specifically. For example, if I went to my news feed, I just clicked it right here, and now I'm in the news feed. If I go back here, now we're going to see additional widget areas where we can put widgets. Okay, so that is something we'll make sure we take a look at once we fully built out this community site towards the end of the video. Okay, so next what we want to do is click right here where it says homepage settings, and this is where we get to choose which page is going to be our homepage. So by default it's set to our latest blog posts, but let's go ahead and choose a static page, and I'm going to have it by default be my news feed page. Okay, I'll just set that there. We don't have anything there yet, but it's going to be there soon. And what we also get to do is tell WordPress what is going to be the page on our website where we list out all of our blog posts. And that's going to be right here. I'm going to choose blog, that blog post page that we chose not that long ago. And then I'll go ahead and click on publish. Now all these changes that we've made are saved, and I can click on this X to get out of the customizer. So you can see we've got quite a lot done here. So if I click on community, this is now our home page, which is this news feed, and we don't have any info in there just yet. We'll get some info. But this is actually what the newsfeed could potentially look like right here, as there's activity with the sidebar on the left and the right, and we have the activity going right here. Obviously, we don't have that activity yet on our site. Here is our blog index page. I click there, and then I can click here to actually get into a blog post, and I can click on home to get back. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the different components in the BuddyBoss theme. I'm going to go here where it says community. That is basically the site title. You can see it changed, and I'll click on dashboard, and this is going to take me back to the dashboard. So let's click on BuddyBoss right here, and it's immediately going to take us into the BuddyBoss components. Now, some components are required, but most of them are completely optional. Okay, so let's go through these, and then we'll take a quick look at these settings and the settings you might want to be aware of. And let's start putting this website together. So the first component is member profiles. And this is basically when someone interacts on your website, posts a forum comment or an activity feed or anything like that, any user, they're going to have a profile. This is something that is required, and there's some settings that revolve around it. Next, we have profile fields. These are custom fields that we can add to member profile to further customize this online community. Now we have some optional ones. So we have account settings, and this is going to allow each user to be able to modify their account settings on their profile. I'd recommend having this activated, and it's activated by default. The next one is notifications, and these will be notifications that get sent out to your users. You're going to want this active as well. Next is social groups. I'm going to go ahead and activate it. And the best description of this is kind of like a Facebook group. So if we're on the online demo here of BuddyBoss and I click on groups, these are social groups right here, and people can join them. You can have private groups. When you click into them, you have an activity feed for the group. You can see the various members in a group. You can actually customize all of this, by the way. And you can have a forum discussion dedicated to the group like this. So these are groups. Next, we have forum discussions. I definitely recommend having this activated. Let's go ahead and activate that one. Next, we have media uploading. I definitely suggest having this active so that your members can upload images. So let's go ahead and activate that. Next, we have private messaging, and I'm going to activate it for this video. I don't personally use it because I'm not using my community website for messaging users and allowing users to message each other. So it's completely up to you whether you want it active or not. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and activate it. It's actually a very nice feature, and the user interface is very nice. I might have to rethink having that on or off, but what's nice is you can turn a feature on or a feature off. It's up to you. Okay, member connections, I have this off, and I'll leave it off for this tutorial because the tutorial's already getting a little bit long. This allows members to make connections together. Think about it as Facebook, and people can have Facebook friends. So that is essentially member connections. Okay, and next we have email invites. I also have this turned off. This allows a member to invite another member. So it depends on your purpose of the online community site that you're creating, whether or not this makes sense for you. Next is network search. I like having this active, so I'm going to go ahead and activate it. And what this is going to do is there's a search option in your site, and this will allow when someone goes in there to search for something, to search the entire network, all the content. So they can search for a user's name, they can search for a forum post, they can have a search and also reach into pages and posts and any other type of content that you might have on your site. Now, as we did this and activated these different components, pages were created for those components. So if I go back here to pages, you're going to see now we have a forums page. Now we have a groups page. We didn't have these before. So we can go ahead and add those to the menu if we wanted. So let me go back to the front end, and we have our menu here. I'll go ahead and click on customize, and we'll add these new components to the menu. So I'll click on menus. I'll click on main, which was the menu we created. I'll click on add items, and now I'm going to go ahead and add groups, and I'm going to add forums like that. And so I will leave the organization like that. You might want to rearrange some of these items. You could easily do that. I'll click on publish, and then we'll get out of the customizer. And so now we have those options there, but we haven't set anything up on them just yet. You also see some new icon right here, which is the message box. And this is what we just enabled, the component that we just enabled. So let's go back to BuddyBoss, and so we have all of our components. So now we can start configuring these components, and actually quite easy. So you can see right here we have some tabs, and then right here we have some options. So I'm on components, I'm going to click on pages, and this is where you link up a component to the page that you want tied to that component. Now, it created those pages automatically for us, as you see, and it linked it for us. What we didn't actually create, though, is a registration form. So I can click on Create Page, and it's going to go ahead and create that page for us. Opens up a blank tab like this, but if we just click back, it created it, and we can scroll down, and now there's a registration form page there. And then we also need to create an activate account page. So I'm going to click on Create Page, and it's going to do the same thing. It opens up in a blank new tab, but then if I just click back and I scroll down, you can see that that's set up. So it looks like we have everything set up in here just fine. So I'll just go ahead and click on Save Settings. So we verified that all our components have pages. Next, let's click on Settings. So when I click in here, you see the specific settings for each of the components, and it's all pretty simple. It might seem like a lot of settings, but don't get overwhelmed by it. It's actually really not that much. So let's just skim through these. I would definitely recommend after you set up your site, go through these settings in detail and just try to understand what each one does. And there's tutorial videos for each one. You can see under each setting panel, it says view tutorial. So there's a tutorial video to go with each one, so you can dig deep into these various options. So the first one is for general settings, and this is having to do with registrations. So do you want someone to be able to register a new account on your website versus them being one manually created for them? For me, this is a yes. So I'm going to click this box where it says allow non-members to register for new accounts. The next two options are regarding that registration form. If you want them to have an email confirmation on the registration form, that's where you have them put their email in twice. And the same thing goes for password, whether you want them to have to put the password in twice. Sometimes that could be annoying, but then it can also eliminate errors. So it depends on the community and the demographic of your community, whether or not you feel like you need to have those in there. Next, you can let members delete their profile if you want them to, so you can have that enabled. That's actually very transparent to be able to offer them that. Now, the next two options are very important and they're your preference. So let me go ahead and click here. So here I am on the front end of the site, and you can see this black bar here, and this is called the admin bar. Now, you're going to want it as the administrator. You log in to have that, but you're not going to want that for the members of your community. And that's where these two options are right here. It says show the toolbar. So here you're definitely, well, my preference is to not show it. So I'm going to uncheck these two boxes right here. And like I said, you can view the tutorial on it right here. Now, if you wanted to put this entire community behind a login form, so it's completely private, you have to have a login just to be able to access it. This right here is a setting for you. Now, that's not how I run my community, but if you're using this to create a private intranet for your company or something along those lines, and you don't want any of this info publicly viewable, this is what you're going to want to do. So I'll click on Save Settings, but I'm not doing that for my purpose. Same thing if you're making an intranet, this registration option, you're probably going to want to manually create people's accounts when you're adding them to the intranet. If it's like for your private company, you might want to uncheck that. It's completely up to you. So we're already through one of these setting panels. Let's take a quick look at the profile options. And this has to do with how you want people's names displayed across your network. So you probably, depends on the purpose of this community. For me, I just want first name. I don't want people's first and last name for their purpose. And I don't want nickname either, because I don't know what someone's going to choose for a nickname. So for me, the safest bet is just going to be the first name. With that is displaying their name in the name field. If you don't want that last name shown, you can uncheck this right here. Okay, next right here we have profile photos, and here's an option I think you should enable, and I have this enabled, is right here. It's Profile Gravatar. There's a free service called Gravatar where you can link an image to an email address, and wherever you use that email address, that image of you is going to be used. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and enable it, and actually after I save this, you should start seeing my photo because I have a Gravatar attached to the email address I use. And users will still have the option to put a custom avatar if they want, and they can also, with this option, have a custom cover image. And then right here, you can have an option of having different profile types. So if you say have an online community where there's learning, you might have a profile type for instructors or tutors or community leaders or mentors or something along those lines. If you want to have different types of profiles, this is going to be the option for you. Next, the ability to search profiles or not. And then right here is on a profile directory, how do you want the different members listed in a grid and a list, or just a grid or just a list? How do you want that to be viewed? So I'll go ahead and click on Save Settings, and just like I said, now you can see a picture of me on the right there. See, because I enabled that Gravatar option. So if I go here to the front end and I do a refresh, you're going to see now my picture's there. So any person now that registers for your online community, and if they have a Gravatar set up, it's going to automatically pull their Gravatar image in. And as more and more people become web savvy and understand what Gravatar is, it's just going to make your community look better and better. Okay, now we just have a few more of these options to get through. So let's go ahead and take a look at groups. And the best way to wrap your mind around groups is Facebook groups. If you've ever gone into a Facebook group and have experienced that, you're going to bring that same experience into your website. So right now, if I was to go on Facebook, I could create a group if I want. I can name it whatever I want. And you can decide if you want people to be able to do the same thing on your website. For me, it's a big no. I do not want people just creating groups on my site. I want to create the groups and I want to have full control over those groups. And I don't want people to be able to create them. So it's completely up to you if you want to have this checked or not. But for me, I don't want it checked. And here's some options related to the way the group looks with the avatar of the group and the cover image of the group. So if I was to go back here, this is the cover image, and then this right here is the avatar of the group. And do you want the organizer of the group to be able to change those? And of course, you would definitely probably want to leave that checked, but you can dig into the settings more by clicking on View Tutorial. Next, we have the option of having different types of groups right here. And then we have an option to have membership, or when someone requests to join a group, if you want that automatically approved. For me, I actually want that automatically approved. I don't want the admin of having to manually approve people, but it depends on your use of these groups. Okay, and then you can have hierarchies for your groups. That's getting a little too meta for me, so I'll leave that the way it is. And then how do you want the group directory page to look? Do you want it to be a grid or a list, just a grid or a list, or have the user have the option of viewing them both ways? And then you have the default view. Let me just show you that real quick. So when I go here and I click on groups, right here I'm seeing everything in a grid, but if I click this icon here, it's going to show me everything in a list. So you can decide if you want someone to only be able to see it like this, only be able to see it like this, or how it's said here to have the option. I kind of like having the option myself right there. So we'll leave that. I'll go ahead and click on Save Settings. We're already through the group settings. Let's take a look at the forums settings. Okay, so this is related to forum communication, creating a forum post and responding and all of that. So you have control over the editing. So how long does someone have to make an edit to something that they post? So you have these options right here. And how fast can someone post? If your forum is going to be publicly accessible and anyone can register, you might want to throttle the posting so that they can't post it over and over and over and over again. They can have a break in between. And then right here, you can choose if you want someone to anonymously be able to post. Basically, post without creating an account. I don't recommend that one if it's well, if it's public, that would be the only time you would use this. So I definitely wouldn't recommend having that there. Okay, and then here is in regards to how people interact with the forums. Do you want to allow revisioning logging? So that means every time someone edits, it saves those revisions. This is if someone writes something and gets a response from someone and then they change what they wrote to, change how what they originally wrote is viewed. Okay, so you can let people mark discussions as favorites, people subscribe, people tag if you want to allow them to tag different forum posts. Right here, you can choose if you want someone to be able to search the entire forum. Of course, you'd want that. Formatting, auto embed links, and reply threading. I like reply threadings. And how deep do you want that to go? Right here, you can choose when you're viewing the forum, how many forum posts and responses would you see on a particular page. You can set to 15 if you want more to show, less to show. What happens is if there's, say, 20 and you're looking at a list of 15, it'll say next page. And so it has that pagination. So down here we have the RSS feed settings for discussions. I would suggest leaving that default if you're not familiar with that. And then right here where this is dealing with the link structure of each forum, I'll show you that in a moment when we create a forum. And you can see how that is. So this is basically the structure of the URL. And you can play around with those settings there if you want. And this also has to do with the link. Here's more settings related to the link to each piece of content in the forum. Now, when we activate the forum, there is a demo forum and a forum post that's automatically created. So let me just show you that real quick, but I'm going to open this in a new tab like this, because because I want you to understand how the link works. And it looks like I'm wrong. There wasn't a basic form created. Well, let me just do that now. I'll click on New Form. And I'm just going to call this general, like the general form. And then off to the right here, we have form options. So this is going to be a forum, and it's going to be open to everybody. It's visible to the public versus private or hidden. And there's no parent forum like that. So these are just basic settings. I'll go ahead and I'll click on publish. And now my forum is created, and I'm going to go ahead and open up this forum in a new tab, just like this. And then I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Well, you can see it right there. So here's a zoom in. So you can see here's my domain name right here. And then it says forums/forums/forum. And then the name of that forum general. So remember, forums and forum. Okay, I'm going to confuse you, and I don't want to. So let me go back here. And so here is where the word forum is coming from. If you wanted to name it something different, you would put it here, and it would be different in the URL like that. Okay. And so right here where it says discussions, this is when we actually create a forum topic. This is what is going to end up being in the URL. This gives you customization options. So let me just show you that in practice. So there's nothing found. So I'm going to click on new discussion. And by the way, this is how you add a new forum topic. So I'm going to put a title, and I'm going to put some info here, and then I'm going to post it. Okay, so I gave it a title, and I put a little bit of info here. And your user, what's nice right here, they can choose notify me of replies. And when they do that, they'll get an email notification when someone replies. So I'll just go ahead and click on post. And now we have our first post, and it's taken me into it. Now let me zoom in and show you what the link looks like. You can see it says the domain name /forums/discussion, and then the title of that forum post. See where it says discussions? Well, right here, that's where it gets that word discussions in the URL. If I wanted this to say something different like question, and then I saved this, and then I went here to the front end, instead of it saying discussions, it would say question. So this is just where you get that fine-grained control over the URL structure of your site. Okay, I probably didn't need to explain it so much, but I hope you can appreciate it. Okay, and then we have options for the forum profiles of the users. And then lastly, right here, we have this option that when you create a new group, do you want groups to be able to have their own dedicated forums to the group? Okay, so these are our forum settings. So let me just go ahead and click on save. And we're going to take a deeper look at forums in a moment. Okay, here's for our activity feed if you want an activity feed. So this is some settings related to how the data is viewed. Then right here is some settings on the actual data that ends up in an activity feed. So let me actually go back to the front end of the site here and click on news feed, which is our activity feed. And we can see we have this piece now in the feed, right? It was that Adam started this discussion in the general forum. And this is the info that I posted in the forum. This is my news feed. So you can see that happened automatically. I just created the forum post, and now you automatically see it here in the news feed. So you can choose what you want to automatically show up in that news feed, and you have these options right here. So I'd recommend, if you're going to have a blog, to also have blog posts end up in there like that. And I would suggest, let's see, this is options related to having LearnDash. Not everyone's going to have that, so you might not want that there. I'll go ahead and click on Save Settings. So that is our options as it relates to the activity feed. Let's go ahead and go through the media options. So we want to allow people to create their own, upload photos to their profiles or enable albums. It's up to you if you want that. Me personally, I don't want people having all this profile stuff like that. It's not Facebook. I'm going to use my community site for business purposes. So it's up to you, though, the purpose of yours, if you want to allow people to do more with their profile. I want people more to interact, not necessarily spend a ton of time on their profile. But for groups, I do want people uploading photos to groups, and I do want them to be able to create albums in groups. Then right here is, do you want them users to be able to send messages with photos, items that they're uploading. And then right here, I definitely want people to upload photos to forum discussions, because a lot of times it might be a screenshot of something or some photo and they're asking a question. So that I definitely want it on. Next has to do with emojis. I love emojis, so I'm going to let people use emojis wherever the heck they want to use emojis. The same thing is for animated GIFs. I want people to use animated GIFs wherever they want. Now, what you have to do in order to let people do the animated GIFs is you need to right click here where it says Jiffy like this, open that up in a new tab, and then go to this site. Then it's really easy. Just click on Get Started. Right here, click on Create an App. And you're going to have to create an account, and essentially you want to get what's called an API key, which you're going to copy and paste back over to here, which is going to enable you to have direct integration with these animated GIFs, just like you can on Facebook. So let me just go ahead and click on Save Settings. You'll want to go ahead and pop in your API key. Go create one. It's free. It's simple. You just log in, give it a name, and they give you an API key. It's super easy. And there's also a tutorial here on getting it as well if you want to dig a little deeper in that. You're definitely going to want to have that. It makes a community a lot more fun. Last is the network search. So when you are right here, there's this search option. When I click on it, I can start typing something in, and we get this fine-grained control over where the results are going to come from right here under network search. So do we want them to be able to search members? Do we want them to be able to, or do we want to include results from forums, from the groups, from the activity feeds, from other parts of your website, such as blog posts, pages? I don't want media. My templates has to do with Elementor. We could have courses, but actually we could have lessons. These are related to only going to show if you have LearnDash installed. Okay, and let's see, we can just leave it like that. That's fine. Okay, and then right here is autocomplete. This is actually really cool. So when someone's doing a search and typing, so let's just say welcome. I don't remember. Oh yeah, there it is. So you can see I started typing and it's showing me result automatically, and that's because of the integration, and that's because of the autocomplete suggestion feature right here, autocomplete setting. And so if you don't want that, you don't have to have that in real time, and you can control the number of results that display. So I'll go ahead and click on Save Settings. And I got to tell you, our site is totally coming together. So we just have a few more tabs here. So we have integrations, and basically right here, it's for LearnDash. So these are going to be specific settings related to using LearnDash with BuddyBoss. I'm going to skip this right now, and I'm going to hit this at the end of the video. We have tools right here as well. This is really cool. This allows you to import dummy data that you can use as you're getting comfortable with this new platform you're learning, but you can also remove that data. So if I wanted to create a bunch of members, a bunch of groups, and a bunch of forums, I can click on import selected data, and it's going to populate and create forums and groups and all that kind of stuff for me. But I'm showing you in this tutorial video. You can play with that if you want, but I'm going to show you how to, I already showed you how to create a forum, but I'm going to show you how to do a lot of that right now anyway. Then there's this option to repair community. So if you are communicating with BuddyBoss support, there may come a time where they ask you to run one of these options just to make sure everything stays in sync. Okay, so this is for the community. Here's a repair for the forums right here. Here is if you want to import some profile types right here if you're migrating from a different tool, and you have the same import option right here for forums, and you have the import option here for media. This is actually really good for forums. If you're coming from any of these different forum platforms, they have an automatic import ability, which is pretty nice. It'll make it easy for you to migrate all your data in and across. Okay, we are in the home stretch here. So we just have a few other options right here for BuddyBoss, and let's just go through them. So I can click right here on profiles, and this is where I can add a custom field. So if there's a custom bit of information that you want people to be able to add to their profile, you can go here and click Add New Field, just like this. Give the field a name, and you can give a field type right here of a checkbox, a drop down. There's all these different options right here for creating custom fields for these different profiles. So if it was a business community, you can ask someone what industry they're in, what's their profession, these specific types of information. So I'll go ahead and create a custom field. I just entered the name industry as what industry are you in? And I'll just leave it as a single line of text here. Is it required? Is it optional? I'll leave that optional. Is it visible or only me, the admin, can see it, or can all members see it? So all members would be if someone's logged in, that's the only time they can see it. And then right here, there's some additional options. Let's go ahead and click on save. And so now I've added this custom field. So if I click back on profile fields, you can see we have this field here, and we can even rearrange these fields like that, which makes it really nice. So now let's choose the option here where it says profile navigation. It's going to kick us into that customizer-like experience. And what I'm going to want to do is get into a profile here. So I'm going to click right here where it says Adam Prizer. That should take me into my own profile. There it is. There's my profile. So you could see here's my avatar. Here's my cover image, which is nothing. Here's some information about me when I joined, and you have these various tabs here. And so this is what everybody's going to have access to, which makes it really convenient. So we have some options here though. So I can rearrange these tabs. So you see how it's profile, timeline, groups. If I wanted forums to be, say, at the top. And so essentially when someone clicks on forums, it's going to show them all the forum posts that they've made. So if I click here where it says forums, you're going to be able to see it's going to be a list of all the discussions that I've started. And then I can click here and see the replies, things I favorited, and my subscriptions. So you have those options there, and you can totally control that. Now, also, if you don't like this this horizontal navigation, I could click this option here and display them. I can display them vertically like this. I kind of like the vertical look myself better. So here is where someone can edit their profile, and here's where people can see all their activity on your community website. I kind of like this, so I'm going to go ahead and click on publish. Now we can do the same thing when we're looking at groups, and we can do it when we're looking at forums and photos, and we'll get to this in a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of this, and we are done with profiles. So now let's take a look at groups. We haven't done anything in groups yet, so I'm going to click add new group. You can see we're going to do a group navigation as well. So what we need to do is just go ahead and give this group a name. I just came up with the name Website Creators, and we can have a description here, and I've got a description. I'll go ahead and click on publish. And so now we have this new group, and as soon as we do that, we get all these different group options that appear. So what we have here is our name. This is the link to this group right here. We can change this description whenever we want to change the description. We can add a member by typing their name here. We can see, we can see a list of the organizers, and we can change people's roles right here. We can assign someone to be a moderator or a member, and we can remove or ban people. This is just like Facebook. And then off to the right here, we have additional options as well. So you can see right here, we have the group privacy. Is this public, private, or hidden? And who can invite others to join the group. So if you want to let people invite other people, you could do that, or you could just choose organizers. That doesn't mean people can't request to join. That just means that they can't invite people to join. Then we have posting restrictions, who can actually post in this group, who can manage the media of this group, and who can create albums. So if you want to leave all of these controls up to the organizer, you would want to let users post to the group for sure. And we want people to be able to upload media like images, but for albums, you might want to just leave that to an organizer. Now here's an important option, and this is, do you want a forum that is linked to this group? And if you do, you want to check this box right here. So I'm going to check that box. I'll click on Save Changes, and it's going to do a bunch of things, and it's going to finish creating the group. And now when I scroll down, you can see it says Group Forum Website Creators. It just created a forum for us. And you saw like 5 or 10 minutes ago where we manually created a forum. Well, this time, because we checked that box, it automatically created a forum and it linked it to the group for us. So now let's go to the front end of the website. Here I am. Let me get out of that. Let me click right here where it says Forums, and you can see we now have this forum, and it says I'm an organizer. It's named Website Creators. Now when we click on Forums right here, you should see the two forums, the general one we created, and then this automatic one that was just created. And it says right here, a group for website creators, and it's that same discussion, that same description that I entered for the group. So this is what I love about the BuddyBoss theme. So if I want to click here to get into this group, I can just click on it, and I can manage a lot of the settings for this group right here on the front end. So if I want to set a cover image, I can just see how I'm hovering, and then there's the icon. I'm going to just click right there, and it takes me into this Manage tab right here, and I've got these different pieces of information that I'm able to manage. So if you have someone managing it, they don't have to be in the back end of WordPress. They don't have to see all of this stuff. They are only going to see this stuff, and it makes it super easy to use. So you can click on Select Your File. It's going to pull up the file selector for your computer, and you can upload the cover photo that you want, and you can do the same thing here for this cover avatar image right here for the group. Now here's all of our settings for the group, all on the front end. So when I click on details right here, you're going to see that description. Well, whoever is an organizer that, or you've given a role in this group, they can go here and update this very easily, and you can choose to notify the members of the group. And then here's the settings all on the front end of the website. So you can choose the privacy settings, who can invite, and all of that. You could do all of this on the front end versus the back end. So right here you can manage photos. Right here you can manage the cover photo. You can manage right here the members of the group, and you can kick people out if you want. You can do whatever you want. Here you can manage the discussions, who can add discussions to the group, and if you wanted to delete the group, you could do it right here as well. So that is one of my favorite things about this, is that you can do so much on the front end. So here is the members. Okay, let's go back. Now we've created this group. It's awesome. We put all our settings in there. If I click on groups, you can see here's a list of all the groups, and we only have this one, and you see some stats. Now we can also tweak the group navigation like we just did for the profile navigation. So I can click right here, and it's going to take me into this customizer-like experience. Let me make sure I click into a group. So I'm going to click on groups, and then I'm going to click into the group right here that I created. And so we can choose, remember right here, if you wanted this to be horizontal or vertical. So I can go like this, and it's going to make it vertical just like that. You can do that. I'll leave that one horizontal. And the same thing goes with these options. You can rearrange them however you want. So if you want the discussions, the forum posts to be the first thing someone sees, you can just move that to the very first thing, and you can see it's right there highlighted. And you have all these different options. You can choose the order of all of them. I'll go ahead and click on Publish, and then I'll click on the X here to get out of that. So that is how you can create groups. That is how you can manage groups. That is how you can create a user forum that is linked to the group. All that easy. Okay, next we have forums, which we took a look at a moment ago. And you can see here was the one that was just created that's linked to a group. But right here we have the general one right here as well that we created together. So right here, whenever someone creates a forum topic, you're going to see it listed right here where it says discussions. So when I click in there, there's the forum topic that I created, and you're going to see all the replies listed here. Now, you're not going to really want to come back here to manage it. You're going to want to manage it all on the front end pretty much. So if I'm right here and I click on forums, and we see our two forums right here and right here. Besides, we probably want to put a featured image on that. Let me do that really quick right here. So right here it says set featured image. I'll click there. I'll choose my one image, and then I'll choose that, and then I'll click on update. And then I will go here and do a quick refresh. You can see now we have an image right there. So if I click, say right here, it's going to show me the one discussion. And let me click into that discussion right here. I can click on reply, and here is my reply. And then here's how someone can add an image. They can add a animated GIF, and they can add an emoji if they want. Let's just go ahead and put an emoji, and then I'll click on post. And so there's the reply. So if I go back to forums and now I click on discussions, you see the one discussion. But if I click on replies, you're going to see that one reply now that I just added. So you're going to see all the replies. But it doesn't make sense to be here in the back end to kind of manage this stuff. It's so much easier to just be on the front end to see what forum posts are going on and to reply to posts. And you can see how great this ends up looking. Okay, so we've gone over creating profiles, we've gone over groups, we've gone over forums. When you click on activity, it's just going to show you a list of these activity points. So we had the initial activity right here. Actually, let me show you something new. If I go into groups, and groups have their own activity feeds. So let me go into the group we created. And so I'll click on feed, and I can post anything I want here. I wrote, if you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up right now. It helps a lot. And that was actually a message to you. So I'll go on and click post update. So we have an activity feed in the group. So now if I go back here to activity feed and I'll do a refresh, you're going to see that that was added as a post there. So you can see who is the activity feed from, when, and what. You can see it all listed right here. And this is just going to be a list of activities. So you can actually go here, search, and remove stuff if you wanted to remove something out of that activity feed. Next, right here, we have emails. Now, there are a ton of email templates in here because there's lots of things that email notifications are going to go out for. And you can see the titles here, but you can click into any of these if you wanted to customize the text in them. So right here is, for example, when someone signs up, they're going to get an email to verify their email address and their account that they set up. And actually, that's not the right email. It's right here to activate their account. So when I click on this, this is the email that's going to go out when someone first signs up. And this is the text that's going to happen. So you don't want to mess with these types of things. And it says right here, these are tokens. Don't mess with them pretty much. And see that? Don't mess with it. But if you wanted to add other bits of text, thanks for registering for my site. You can type anything you want in here. Just be careful messing with this because this is going to generate the activation URL, which is unique for each person that signs up. But you can go in here and you can customize this text all that you want, just like this. Now, these emails, this text gets put into an email template. Now, if you want to customize that email template, it's very easy. You can click right here where it says customize layout. It's going to go ahead and take us into that familiar looking customizer where we were just editing the forums and the group layouts. Here it is. So here's what the template's going to look like. And there's just a few things that you're able to do here. So for the header, when we click on this, we're going to be able to put in a custom logo. So if you have a logo for your community site and you wanted to have that also included in emails that go out, you'll want to add the custom logo. It's going to replace this here where it says community, and it's going to replace that with that logo. Okay. And then here for the body, what you're able to do is change the colors. So this is nice. So you can, instead of having the blue, you can also have your brand's colors right here. Although I think these email templates are just beautiful to begin with. And then for the footer, you can change the text right there for it, as well as the color and the size. So you're definitely going to want to go in here and just change some of these settings. I'm going to click on X here, but you're probably not going to want to mess with these email templates much. They are kind of perfect the way that they are. Okay, last option here is notices. These are notices that will appear globally on the site. So I'll go ahead and put a subject and some content here for a notice so you can see what it looks like. Okay, I've put my notice in. I will click on publish, and it is now there. And let's just end up seeing what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and click on home. And there it is. Urgent. Please don't forget. to like this video and subscribe to my channel. There it is. And a user can close this if they want. So you could see on various pages it's going to appear. So that's the news feed. Let's see if it appears on the blog. It appears, let's see, on forums, if I'm on groups. Now, if I'm in a group, I don't think it actually shows there. Oh, and there it is. It does show there, and the user can hide it like that. So that's how you can put a notice out. So you can deactivate a notice and delete a notice. Let's go ahead and deactivate this notice just like that. Now it's deactivated, but what you could do is you could activate it later as well. So that is a really nice little feature that is there. Okay, the last thing is some settings related to the forum, and they're kind of nice. So if you go into the theme options and you scroll down here to where it says forums, there's a couple extra options that we get. So right here is the forum grids. Do we want to show a card or a cover? This is set to card right now. A card means you get the image and then you have this white area with the written information. If you switch it, it's going to put this text over the image. I prefer it like this personally, but you can have it show a banner. So let me turn the banner on, and you can choose a background image for the banner, an overlay color. You can choose the text color. You can have some info here. So let me write something. I just put welcome to the community. We have some info here, and we have this search option enabled. Let me just click on save changes. And so now I'm going to do a refresh and we'll see how this looks. It just looks a little bit nicer, more inviting. So you can change this color, the background image, the text, and all of that. But then here's nice because there's a dedicated search option here for the forums. And you can see as you have your different forums set up with background images right here, featured images, and you start having discussions going, it's going to look like a very lively place. So that about does it for all of the main components that come with BuddyBoss. Now there's two things that I did not cover yet, and I'm going to cover them quickly. Because one, I'm going to talk about LearnDash. It's an entire video on its own. It's very simple to use, but it's an entire video on its own. But there's a ton of unique features that BuddyBoss has for LearnDash, and it's great if you have an intranet or an online course website with the communities connected to it. It creates this very cohesive experience. And so the LearnDash integration is amazing. So you would just a real 5-minute overview. You go to LearnDash, and I'll put a link down below to a full tutorial on LearnDash. The only reason I don't want to go over it in this video is because not everyone's going to want a learning component to their community website, but it's super simple to use. You would go to courses and you can create multiple online courses. Let's go ahead and create one. I'll click add new, and then it's pretty simple. I'm going to give my course a name. So I just put in a title, a little tiny description right here, and I put a featured image right there. Let me just go ahead and click on publish real quick just to get this published. Then I'm going to click on this tab right here that says builder. And this is where we're going to start building out the course content. It's super easy. You can create sections to organize your lessons, and you can create lessons, and you can have topics in those lessons. So let me just go ahead and put some stuff here. You would just go ahead and say add a new section. I'll give it a title, and then I'll click add section heading, and you can see it there. Now I'm going to click new lesson, just like this, and I'll give it a title as well. Then I click add lesson, and I'm just going to add one more lesson. I'll click on new lesson, and I'll just add one more. I just named that course requirements. I'll click on add lesson just like that, and then there it is. And so let me go ahead and update this course just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go click on course page. Oh, here it is. Click on view course. So you can see all this beautiful styling that you see right here is coming from the BuddyBoss theme. So it just looks gorgeous, right? We have the title of the course. We have the details of the course. Oops, that just shoots me down. We've got the instructor, the date. We have that cover image right here. This is going to show you an avatar of all the students that are inside of the course, and we have a brief snapshot of the content in the course, and then someone can click here and click on start course, and then it takes us into this beautiful course navigation. So right here is, I can jump around to the different lessons. I'm in a lesson right now. I didn't put any content in it, obviously, but we have this here. But this is what I love. We have these two options. So this right here is going to put us in dark mode. So when I do that, it makes everything dark, and it's just easier on the eyes. And so let me go like that. And then right here is kind of like a focus mode. So I can click on that, and it just makes everything kind of disappear. And then here I am, and then I can click here and see everything again. So there's a lot more to LearnDash. So you can obviously use LearnDash to sell your courses as well. And it's super easy to do. Using BuddyBoss, you can create a beautiful grid of your courses. It's just a very easy thing to do. With LearnDash, you can create quizzes and questions for those quizzes, issue certificates, have assignments, groups, all kinds of stuff like that. You can have it be so when someone buys a course, they're automatically added to a group so that they can discuss the course, just the students together. It's really slick, the options with it. So let me just show you those real quick. So if I go back to BuddyBoss, and then I go to components, and then I click where it says integrations, and then I click where it says LearnDash. Here's where we're going to set up this automatically creating or enrolling or adding the new student into a group. We have those options all right here. It's called this syncing right here. And then we can have information added to someone's profile page. So it'll show the courses that they're in. So let me just go ahead and click on Save Settings right there. And then there is some additional theme options as well for LearnDash users. Right here, you can click on it, and then there's this option here for LearnDash, and you'll have options on the course page that lists out all the different courses on your site. It's very comprehensive and complete. Lastly, there is an option to add an events calendar, and it provides all of the styling to make that look beautiful. And this is a free plugin, so we can go to plugins. We can click on Add New. We can do a search right here for Events Calendar. And when you type it in, you'll see right here, the Events Calendar. You can click on Install Now. Then you can click on Activate, and it's going to add a new option over here on the left. This is free. They also have a paid version of it, but I don't think you need it for a community website, and you'll be totally fine with this free option. Right here is where you can opt into giving them some of your info. I would suggest clicking on Skip. And then what we could do here is click on Add New. So here's the options for events. We can click on Add New to add a new event. I'll just go ahead and fill this out. Okay, I've named this New Members Webinar. We can scroll down here. Here's the time of the event right there. We can put in location information, organizer information, event website. So this could be a link to register for the webinar, and then a cost. You can sell access to it if you wanted to. And there's additional features if you purchase their pro version, but this is fine. I'll go ahead and click on Publish. And then what I'm going to do is click on the link. This is the new link to view the event right here. And you can see it just looks great. Obviously, I didn't fill it all out. I could fill it out a whole heck of a lot more and it would look even better. But this looks pretty good already. And it's also going to, if we go into the settings for this plugin, I can go, let's see, I'm going to go to settings right here. There's also a page that lists all of your events. So when you scroll down, there's this setting right here. It says Events URL Slug, and it says right here Events, and then it shows you this link right here. Well, if I click on it right here, it's going to show this calendar view, and so you can see a list of all of the events right here, and you can change this to be a list. If you wanted to view them as a list of events, this is better if there's not lots of events in a particular period of time. And you can do that there, and there could be a search for events, and you can see it's a free plugin. If you want to list events, it's actually a great way of doing it, and it doesn't cost you anything, and it's already going to look beautiful out of the box with BuddyBoss. So this is the BuddyBoss theme, and we've gone over it all. We have a news feed right here, but we could do something different with the homepage if we wanted. We created a blog right here and a blog post. We have the feed again. Here is forums, and you can see this beautiful header part that we created. We have unique groups. We have courses in here as well. We went through customizing the colors, the fonts, the layouts, everything, the logo area. We covered it all in this one video. Well, I want to thank you for spending this time with me on this video. I really need your help though to give this video a thumbs up, and that will help YouTube show this video to more and more people that can benefit from it. I really appreciate if you could help me in that way. Also, if you like this kind of content, subscribe and click on the notification bell. YouTube's going to let you know when I have extra videos that go along with this one. They're just going to go ahead and let you know. So remember, all the links to everything is in the video description box down below, as well as links to other videos that are going to help you with this website. The link to learn more about LearnDash. I have a link there for learning search engine optimization for your online community website. I'm going to have all that down below as well for you. Hey, thanks for spending this time with me. I wish you all the success and the best in building your online community website, and I'll see you in the next video.